Right, what is going on, my 40,000 amazing friends? I hope you're all doing absolutely fantastic today. My name's Jason. If you're new to my channel, I do a whole bunch of photography and videography, tips, tricks, tutorials, reviews, all that good stuff. But yeah, stick around, subscribe if you really want to. It's up to you, I don't know, whatever. Today, we're gonna be talking about the A7IV and the cage that I'm using right now. This is a question that I get asked a lot in my recent videos. I am using the A7S3 cage by Tilter. Yes, the S3. But don't buy it straight away because you need to know something about this because yeah, it doesn't fit straight out of the box. It's actually too small. The A7IV is just a millimeter too big for this cage, which I actually did have to take a file to it, file off the metal, and she fits absolutely, literally fits like a glove. Fits like, you know how new iPhone Apple boxes and you open them and it's just like, it fits exactly like, it's so good, so perfect. But I've got a whole bunch of accessories here that makes everything work quite well, but it all depends on the current job as well. So we're gonna be talking about what I use, and hopefully you can get something out of this and think, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll get that for mine for this particular situation, because it really depends on what you're using them for. I mean, obviously I won't run and gun with this all the time. It really depends on the particular job. If I'm throwing it on a gimbal, I'm not gonna throw this whole thing on a gimbal. I'm gonna demount the whole thing, but the cage, and throw it on the gimbal. But I've got a side handle here, I've got a base plate, whole bunch of cool things. Let's get into this video. So first of all, we're gonna be talking about the cage and this side handle. Now this side handle is from Small Rig. It is a fantastic handle. One downside is it's left-handed, and I actually prefer to use the handle on the right side, but disclaimer, Small Rig did send this to me and I'm not paid or told anything about this, but it's actually really handy. It's very reminiscent of my FX6 side handle because it is varying angle. All I need to do is press this little trigger on the side and I can change whatever angle I want. And it actually comes with this NATO rail that you can chuck straight onto your cage. But the great thing about the A7S3 cage by Tilter is it has a NATO rail on the side. So good. The second one I have is, I've got the Atomos Ninja 5 at the top there, and I've got it attached to this thingamajiggy. So this is a Magic Arm by Nitsy. Now the cool thing is I've got this attached to a ball head that goes into like this metal pole, and then the ball head at the top. It's got these little two prongs and a 1/4-20 that fits directly into the... How many times do you put a monitor onto a Magic Arm and it swivels around and it's just like, my God, will you stop swiveling around? Just stay on there, because there's one mounting point and it's like a little ball thing that you gotta wind and wind and wind, and it's... The great thing about this is a varying angle. You can change it to whatever angle you want. It is so good. The great thing also that I've set it up at the front is that it takes it off the top handle. So if I want to move my hands and put my thumbs wherever I want, I can. It's perfectly fine. Plus this little cold shoe mount at the top allows me to mount my wireless microphone as well, which is like your little lav lapel mic, but I've got an option here on the side where I can put my microphone. But it really depends on how you actually want to shoot. If you're going to be running, gunning and using audio from this, it's up to you. But there's so many mounting options on the A7S3 cage, and with that top handle as well. Now on the front, I've got a Small Rig matte box, which is the small one. Links will be in the description below for absolutely everything today, just so you guys know. But why matte box? You don't even have filters in the front. Well, listen here, my friends. I actually had a job literally a couple of days ago where I was interviewing two people pretty much in Brisbane City, and the sun was backlit and it was coming directly into the lens. I was like, oh my God. French flag. French flag stops the unwanted lens flares to go into the lens and wash out your image. This stopped it perfectly fine. I mean, I did have a big diffusion sheet to soften the sun anyway, but the sun was going directly into the lens and it was killing the image. But French flag absolutely fixed it. Plus I've got my ND on the inside, so you can, it's got a screw point on the inside, which you can put your variable NDs on there as well. If I did want a mist filter, I can chuck the mist filter on the front because I do have the Nisi Black Allure mist that I can chuck on there. I use it on the FX6, is what you're actually seeing through right now. But on here, the variable ND is a mist filter as well, so don't need a mist filter on the front. Now, when it comes to having the bigger cage, This is a really good option and something you might want to consider, especially if you are doing long interviews or just jobs that you're gonna be using the camera for a very long time. The great thing about this is that it is a V-Lock battery onto a V-Lock plate. And this powers everything. It powers my monitor, it powers the camera, and it powers a wireless follow focus system if I really, really need to. All I need to do is chuck this one by Atomos straight through to the D-tap, through to the battery or the D-tap mount onto the plate. Then I've got this pass-through dummy battery for the A7IV through D-tap as well. Now the great thing about actually using a dummy battery is that the battery is the one thing that heats up quite a lot, and that's actually what overheats the camera quite a lot because the battery heats up. If you put a dummy battery in there, it's going to be putting the power through to the V-Lock battery and just passing through this. You're not gonna have any overheating issues whatsoever with this thing. Honestly, so if you are really worried about overheating issues, dummy battery, you really should try it. But anyway, if I did want to power the Nucleus Nano as well, I can power it through D-tap as well. I can power it through, you got the USB-C on the side, USB-C, USB-A. But the thing about this one is that it did come with my Digital Photo Thanos Pro 2. So I'll try and find a link for this. They're not very cheap because yeah, they're very handy, that's why. But the great thing about that is that you can buy an NPF battery plate, these NPF batteries, and you can chuck 2 of them onto the plate and it can be your makeshift V-Lock battery, which is so good because how many of these do you have? Like I've got like literally like 9 or 10 of these because they actually power some of my lights, which is so good. But all that aside, I do have this thing right here. So this is by PGY Tech. This is a quick release plate. So I can chuck it directly onto that quick release plate. But like I said, you can power everything through that V-Lock battery. And the great thing about this one is that I do have rails in the front. So if I do have a manual focus lens, I can manual focus through that one there as well. So, oh, one thing I forgot to mention as well, with this monitor, I do actually have this 90-degree adapter. This is so handy, mainly for the fact that if you're going to be chucking this directly into the side and you've got a side handle, it's gonna get in the way of that side handle. And yeah, that's pretty annoying. So this one actually points it towards the front, gets it out of the way. So good. Do recommend actually getting this 90-degree one. It's only a couple of bucks from Amazon, so very handy to have. That's my setup for the A7IV. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, let's get it.